Will the defendant please stand? Kempton Bunton, you were charged that on the 21st of March 1961, you stole from the National Gallery a priceless portrait of the Duke of Wellington by Francisco José de Goya.
Not very good, is it? All my life I've looked out for other people and got into trouble for it. But I had faith. Not in God, but in people.
How do you plead?
Not guilty.
Yes! For those unfamiliar with court proceedings, that was the plea, not the verdict.
Hi, Chris. Jeff in Las Vegas. Good morning.
Good afternoon. Good morning.
I assume you're in London or in England, or
I'm in New York, actually.
You're in New York. Well,
yeah,
fantastic.
So I've been here for 14 years now. So.
Oh, no kidding. That's odd. I love New York. I love New York. Well, thank you for joining me today to talk about The Duke. Man, I love this film. Just wonderful story, wonderful performances. And I know you have such a personal connection to it because it's your family story. And you first heard this family story, I understand, when you were 14 years old. And as you got older, you wanted to set the family record straight with this film, didn't you?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So it was, like you say, I first heard about it when I was 14 years old on a ferry trip with my dad. And it was a ferry from my hometown, which is North Shields, to Bergen at the time. And there's not much else to do on these ferries, but sit in the bar. And my dad had had a few drinks at that time, and he let it slip. And to be honest with you, I thought he'd had one too many when he kind of put that on me. But so I've known about it since then. And then really, apart from that one time, he didn't really speak about it after that because it wasn't something he was actually proud of. And a lot of the family members, some of the family members were actually ashamed of it. So it was 2011 that I got more involved and more interested and started doing my own research. And like you say, I thought it could be a good time to tell the full story.
Well, the full story is Kenton Bunton in March of 1961 stole a priceless portrait of the Duke of Ellington from the National Gallery. Police thought it was stolen by a highly professional gang. Some even thought it was a trained commando. It wasn't the case. It was just your grandfather, right? Who came from a working class background.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think one of the reasons they thought it was, at one point they thought it was the mafia, is because it was actually the painting was taken exactly 50 years to the day of the Mona Lisa heist from the Louvre. So yeah, it was just, it definitely wasn't a highly trained commando. It was my family really with no training, no previous, that just happened to come upon the painting, and the rest is history.
And it was funny because your grandfather, he wasn't out for selfish profit. He saw himself as a modern day Robin Hood, didn't he?
Yeah, he was really committed to his campaign of he really wanted to do some good for his society, and he had a campaign to try and get free TV licenses for pensioners and war veterans because he viewed TV. He thought TV could be a cure for loneliness for such characters, and he was very committed to his cause after witnessing his own dad come back from World War I, disabled, and then he ended up somewhat isolated. So. He was really championing that cause, and the heist actually gave him the platform to that he always wanted.
You know, and your family story is also a crime of passion. I mean, they love and devotion to each other. This working class family. This movie has such heart to it too.
Yeah. I mean, that was important to me. Was to tell the family side of the story, because I think that is where the heart is, and it is really about the working class struggle and the tragedy that families often have to go through. And I think those two factors, the tragedy and the poverty that they live through, had a major impact on the psyche of all of the characters involved, and enables you to kind of understand their position a little bit more when it comes to the heist.
And you know, Christopher, a lot of people sit around and say, who can we cast to play ourselves in a major motion picture? I mean, Jid Broadbent and Helen Mirren. I mean, you can't get any better than that, can you?
Absolutely not. No, it was a completely dream cast. In fact, not just the cast, but the writers, Richard Bean, Clive Coleman, did a fantastic job with the director, Roger Michelle, amazing, and Nikki Benton, the producer. Everything really fell into place, and it hasn't really sunk in, to be honest. I think it's going to take a long time to sink in, but yeah, Jim did an amazing job. And I think he's probably made my grandfather a little bit more lovable than he was in real life. And Helen was perfect as my grandmother as well.
And the great Roger Michelle we lost last September, and he's just, I mean, his fingerprints are all over this, his style.
Yeah, absolutely.
And finally today, so finally, as your family sat down and seen this movie, what was their reaction? Was it positive? Was it, tell us what happened when your family saw this.
Laughter and tears, to be honest with you. And I think my dad was shell-shocked a little bit, and it's couldn't, in myself, it took a few watches to process it. It was so surreal, but there was a lot of laughter and quite a few tears as well. But it's a very uplifting message, and we couldn't be happier with the way it's turned out.
Well, Christopher, congratulations on preserving your family's legacy. It was a wonderful film, and appreciate your time today. So good luck with the film, and best of luck.
Thank you very much for supporting it as well. Thank you.